Everybody, welcome back to Weekly Log of Wisdom. Happy Pride Month and happy Synapsid Week, I believe. As usually, I am your host, Zero Yeti, and I'll probably be your host for quite a long time as I plan on making a variety of these videos, but anything can happen, and if something does happen to me, I hope that my co-host, or Master 101 would be willing to take over this series, as well as there's a few other people I know who really love animals that might be able to take over this series as well. As everyone is inherently mortal, and we only have ever so much time on this small, pale blue dot spinning a sunbeam. I can't guarantee anything, but I will try my best to give you as much of these and most interesting animal facts as I can. I think I've got enough depressing right now. And I'm going to go ahead and get into it with the first animal of the week, which is the giant eland, also known as the Lord Derby eland. It is a massive species of antelope native throughout sub-Saharan Africa, including the nations of Cameroon, the Central African Republic, Chad, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Guinea, Mali, Senegal, Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, Uganda, and South Sudan. Here they mostly inhabit broadleaf savannas, woodlands, and glades, dwelling in small herds consisting of 15 to 25 members. Primarily a nocturnal browser, the giant eland feeds mostly on woody plants such as trees and shrubs. However, it is also known to eat grasses, succulents, and fruit depending on the season. Standing at over 5 feet tall at the shoulder and 9 feet in length, and weighing between 1,000 and 2,500 pounds in weight, the giant eland is the largest species of antelope on Earth. The smooth coat is reddish-brown and chestnut, usually darker in males than females, with 8 to 12 well-defined vertical white stripes on the torso. A dewlap, which is larger than males than females, originates from behind the jowls and hangs down to the upper chest. And they develop these when they reach sexual maturity, and they often have a small fringe of hair along the edge. The large ears of the giant eland serve as signaling devices to help the eland be alert to danger, and their horns, which can reach upwards of 2.5 feet on females and 4.5 feet on males, can act as formidable defense against predators. Mating occurs throughout the year, but peaks in the wet season. Females reach sexual maturity around 2 years, and males around 4 to 5 years. After a 9-month pregnancy, generally one calf is delivered and remains with its mother for 6 months before maturing and setting out to join an unrelated herd. Given its high drought tolerance, large meat yield, and generally docile disposition, it is actually quite common for people throughout the giant eland's range to tame and raise these large antelope rather than cattle or goats, and it is not uncommon for many of these captive individuals to live upwards of 20 years. Next up is the emerald tree monitor, which is also known as the wobblinkin or the green tree monitor, is a small to medium-sized arboreal lizard in the monitor family. It is known for its unusual coloration, which consists of shades of green to turquoise, topped with dark transverse dorsal banding, which helps it to camouflage into the trees. They are native throughout Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, as well as the northern Torres Strait Islands. Here they thrive in lowland environments, including tropical green forests, palm swamps, and cacao plantations, where they consume a variety of prey items such as insects, arachnids, crustaceans, small birds, and small mammals. Excuse me. Additionally, they are also known to occasionally feed upon fruit such as bananas. This 2.5 to 3.5 foot long lizard has several notable adaptations, including a prehensile tail, long claws, and large scales in the soles of its feet, all of which aid the animal in its arboreal lifestyle. It is one of the few social monitors, living in small groups made up of a dominant male, several females, and typically a couple of other males and some juveniles. Females can lay up to 3 clutches throughout the year, depending on resource availability, and typically deposits each clutch of about 5 eggs inside termite mounds, which help to incubate the embryos. These eggs hatch after around 160 to 190 days, after which the young eat the termites within minutes of hatching. They reach sexual maturity around 1 year of age, and these reptiles can live upwards of 15 years. Next up is the red gara, also known as the doctor fish or the devil fish. It is a species of cyprinid that is native to a wide range of freshwater habitats in subtropical parts of Western Asia. However, it particularly thrives well oxygenated rivers, streams, canals, reservoirs, and lakes throughout Turkey, Syria, Jordan, Israel, Palestine, Iraq, and Iran. They typically live around schools of 5 or more individuals, and they can reach sizes around about 5 inches in total length, but depending on the individual subspecies, lengths of upwards of 9 inches have been recorded. In the wild, the red gar feeds on detritus, algae, plankton, and insect larvae, and since the 21st century, this fish has been integrated into spa treatments where they feed on stratum corium skin layer in patients with psoriasis. While the doctor fish treatment has been found to alleviate symptoms of psoriasis, the treatment is not a cure, as simply there is no cure for psoriasis currently available. This use of the fish as a spa treatment for the wider public is still widely debated on grounds of efficiency and validity. The practice is banned in several of the states in the United States and several Canadian provinces, as cosmetology regulators believe the practice is unsanitary, and cosmetology regulations generally mandate that the tools used in these places need to be discarded or sanitized after each use, which is something that can't really be done with live animals. The procedure is still legal in Quebec, with a few clinics in Montreal, as well as legal in a few other major U.S. states. Many animal rights organizations denounce the practice, citing the callous methods of international transportation and how the fish are deliberately starved between treatments to force them to eat abnormal food. The red gar is legally protected from capture in the wild, especially in Turkey, due to concerns of overharvesting, and as such, most specimens in captivity, both in the home aquarium as well as these spa places, originate from fish farms throughout Israel, Palestine, and Turkey. Next up is the Costa Rican variant of harlequin toad, also known as the clown frog. It is a small neotropical true toad in the family of Bufadidae. This diurnal amphibian is often found in and around rocks and low-lying vegetation along streams throughout humid lowland and montane forests. Here they feed upon various insects and other arthropods. It is a primarily terrestrial species, only entering the water during breeding season, and relies on the spray from streams as well as frequent mists, fogs, and rainfall for moisture. The Costa Rican variable harlequin toad is a small 1 to 1.5 inch, slim-bodied, pointy-snouted toad of a highly variable coloration. The dorsal color is usually black or brown, overlaid with a mosaic of spots and streaks, which can be almost any combination of orange, red, yellow, blue, or green. The belly is marbled with white, yellow, orange, or red coloration. This apostematic coloration likely serves as a warning to potential predators of this animal as to show off the toxicity of the frog's integument, which contains tetrodotoxin, which is a potent neurotoxin, and thus the only known consistent predator of this amphibian are parasitic sarcophagid flies. Reproduction of this amphibian occurs along streams and other bodies of water, during which the female deposits 30 to 75 eggs in long, thin strings throughout the shallow water, and then the male fertilizes them with clouds of sperm. The eggs hatch after about 36 hours, and the tadpoles have a flattened body with an abdominal sucker which keeps them from being swept away in the current. These amphibians live up to 10 years under ideal conditions. Once ranging throughout Central America, recent variation in air temperature, precipitation, stream flow patterns, and the subsequent spread of pathogenic fungus linked to global climate change have resulted in the populations of this species to dramatically plummet in around the past 2 decades. Today, the Costa Rican variable harlequin toad is now listed as critically endangered, and wild populations now only exist in Capos, Costa Rica, and a few isolated pockets throughout western Panama. Next up is the great white shark, also known as the white shark, the white pointer, or simply the great white. It is the only known surviving species of the genus Carcharodon, and can be found in coastal surface waters throughout nearly all of the Earth's major oceans. It is notable for its size, with larger female individuals reaching upwards of 20 feet in length and 4,200 to 5,000 pounds in weight at maturity. However, most are smaller, with males measuring around 11 to 13 feet in length and females around 15 to 16. The great white shark has a robust, large, conical snout. The upper and lower lobes of the tail are approximately the same size, which is similar to some mackerel sharks. And using this powerful tail and streamlined body, they can swim at speeds of 25 miles per hour for short bursts and cruise at depths of 3,900 feet. Great whites typically display countershading by having white underside and a gray dorsal back. Sometimes the dorsal back can be brown or even a blue shade. This gives them an overall molted appearance, and the coloration makes it difficult for prey to spot the shark because it breaks up the shark's outline when seen from the side, and from above, the darker shade blends in with the sea, and from below, it exposes the minimal silhouette against the sunlight. Additionally, great white sharks, like other mackerel sharks, have large eyes, and other shark species in proportion to their body size, with the iris of the eye being a deep blue instead of the typical black. Great whites are ovoviviparous, which means the eggs develop and hatch within the uterus and continue to develop until birth. After an 11th month gestation period, the females will give birth to up to 14 pups. According to a 2014 study, the lifespan of great white sharks is estimated to be as long as 70 years or more, well above previous estimates, making them one of the largest lived cartilaginous fishes currently known. According to the same study, male great white sharks take around 26 years to reach sexual maturity, while females take around 33. Arguably the world's largest known extant macropredatory fish, great whites typically feed on pinnipeds and cetaceans. However, they are also known to prey upon a variety of other marine mammals, including sea otters, as well as other animals, including fish and seabirds. Great whites themselves are preyed upon by killer whales, which typically go after their liver. Next up is the Puerto Rican tody, which is also called Todus mexicanus, as its scientific name, is a bird who, despite the scientific name, is completely endemic to the island of Puerto Rico, where it is locally known as the San Paradito, which is Little St. Peter, or the Mito Piso, which means the half-dollar bird. The Puerto Rican tody is a small avian, one of the smallest representatives of the order Corcalliciniformes, with the average body length at around 4 inches. The upper parts of the Puerto Rican tody are emerald green color, and has a light yellow flanks and underside tail coverts, and a white belly and chest. Additionally, it has a red throat and a lower bill, which itself can be as long or longer than the rest of the head. Their legs and feet are a brownish color, and the tarsus is similar length to the bill. Males and females are not sexually dichromatic, and the only differences are the eye color, where males have gray eyes, whereas female eyes are white. Puerto Rican tody can be found throughout the main island of Puerto Rico, but is especially fond of predominantly forested areas, especially both high-altitude rainforests and mountainous dry forests. Here they feed primarily on insects such as katydids, grasshoppers, crickets, earwigs, dragonflies, flies, and beetles, making up some 85% of their diet. The toadies occasionally further feed upon worms, arachnids, seeds, frogs, and small lizards. Puerto Rican tody has been researched extensively because of its unusual body temperature control, and temperature control abilities. Most Corcalliciniforms have a body temperature around 40 degrees Celsius, but the Puerto Rican toadies can maintain a body temperature around 36.7 degrees Celsius. This allows them to spend around 33% less energy than other calcaliforms, and the Puerto Rican toadies can lower their body temperatures by 14 degrees. This species forms yearly monogamous pairs that begin courtship between February and May. The ritual consists of chasing each other around while rattling their wings, and both males and females achieve a flank display before copulating, where they fluff out their flanks and cause a spherical ball appearance, which is fairly adorable. The Puerto Rican tody is an unusual nesting technique, and during the 8-week period, the male and female toadies excavate 25 to 35 centimeter long narrow burrows with a right angle into earth banks. They create the nest at the end of these burrows, where females will lay 1 to 4 eggs, which are then incubated by both parents over the course of 21 days. And then finally, because it's Synapsid week, and we covered Dimetrodon last week, I thought it was only fitting to cover Edaphosaurus, probably its most well-known relative. Excuse me. Edaphosaurus is a genus of extinct Edaphosaurid synapsid, which lived in what is now North America and Europe around 303 to 272 million years ago during the late Carboniferous to early Permian periods. Edward Drinker Cope named and described the first specimen, naming Edaphosaurus pogonias, which means bearded pavement lizard, in 1882, based on a crushed skull and left lower jaw from the Texas Redbeds Formation. He noted in particular the dense body of teeth on both the upper and lower jaws, then used the term dental pavement in a table in his description. The type material did not include any of the postcranial skeleton apart from the axis vertebrae, and Cope was unaware of the animal's large sail, a feature then known only from Dimetrodon. Uh, this came into play when in 1886 he erected a new genus of Nasosaurid, meaning ship lizard, from skeletal remains similar to those of the long-spined Dimetrodon, but with distinctive transverse processes on or branches which resembled the yard arms of a ship mast. In 1907, American paleontologist Ermine Cole's case suggested that the skull of Edaphosaurus might belong to the skeletons called Nasosaurus, and based on a specimen found in 1906 that appeared to be associated with elements of both. In 1913, Samuel Weldon Wilstonson and Case described a new species of Edaphosaurus nevomexicanus from a fairly complete specimen unearthed in New Mexico in 1910, in which a sailback Nasosaurus-type skeleton was found with a small Edaphosaurus-type skull. The older generic name Edaphosaurus, chosen by Cope, then became the valid one. Measuring between 3 to 11.5 feet in length and upwards of 650 pounds in weight, Edaphosaurus marks one of the earliest known large plant-eating tetrapods. The head was very small in comparison to the rest of the rather sturdy barrel-like body, and more distinctive, however, was the large sail on its back, which formed by elongated vertebral arches. The arches were probably connected by a membrane that had bony knobs or crossbars along its length to give it some more width. And although this was almost certainly not utilized for wind-powered water travel, like Cope had originally suggested when he found Nasosaurus, the sail probably functioned as in thermal regulation as well as serving as a storehouse for nutrients and phosphates, which could be easily mobilized from the bony projections supporting the sail. The sail also may have had a defense function and a display function, giving the animal a larger and more imposing appearance to predators such as Dimetrodon. And like Dimetrodon, Edaphosaurus ultimately went extinct during the Olson's extinction, which was a mass extinction that occurred around 273 million years ago. As always, goodbye to my gals, non-binary pals. I guess happy Synapsid week as well, and happy Pride.